Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're going to be continuing our Penguindrum journey with episodes 10 and 11. Looking forward to it greatly. Welcome back after the week off last week. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Everything that we say around Christmas time, I guess. Happy holidays, all that kind of junk. Yeah, it's good to be back. You may notice this thing that I'm wearing on my head. This is my new headset. It's a Bluetooth headset. It's relatively expensive and has really good soundproofing stuff. So I can't really hear myself right now, which may lead to some problems. Again, I guess I'll just get used to it. Mostly it's cool because I can do this. Hey, I'm over here now. And now I can do this, where I'm a little bit closer. Yeah, isn't that cool? That's pretty cool. I like that. So I could be like, whoa, if something cool happens. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll just jump into the YouTube comments and kind of try to get back on the horse as it pertains to Penguindrum, which is a little bit of a complex show. We have one comment here today from Lazy Joe. It's actually this side. Kind of went this side, but it's this side. Anyway, Lazy Joe about Frozen World, which was episode 9, the second episode we watched last week. It was the best episode thus far by a pretty long way. Huge Shaft vibes, pretty obviously, and yeah, it was kind of this different perspective on kind of the events that we saw before, kind of Himari's view on that day at the aquarium. We met the character of Sanetoshi, and we kind of got a little bit more of an indicator of what the show's about as it pertains to fate and what the books in that library represent and where Himari may have gone during that time and what Himari is trying to do now. Something about the Bride of Fate, I seem to remember, something like that. Again, and it seems like this is all a setup, kind of, you get books from this library, and I think that Ringo and kind of Momika have something going on there as well. That would explain that. Again, this is probably access to said library or something to that effect is probably the overall goal of whatever's going on, right? Because if you control fate, you control everything, you control the universe. It's pretty important, right? But again, we're going to try to see where the show takes that kind of stuff, I guess. It was directed, storyboarded, and solo key animated by Nobuyuki Takeuchi, best known for defining Monogatari's visual identity. He was also the animation director on 4 Utena episodes and the Utena movie. I see what you're saying. Yep. Absolutely Monogatari vibes. I said so in last week. It looks great. Monogatari looks great. It's one of the best things about that whole show is how good it looks. So shout outs, especially very early on. There was a particular thing I saw on Discord, somebody comparing shots from these episodes with shots from Bakemonogatari. And again, they look very, very similar to each other. It's a pretty jam-packed episode, Sanetoshi's introduction, a touching story about Himari's past, a great insert song, apparently Grey Wednesday, which is another Triple H cover of an ARB song, which was similar to Rock and Roll Over Japan or whatever the hell. And this is something I didn't bring up. So Super Frog Saves Tokyo is a book, like an actual book, right, that she's looking for, because she's under the, again, pretense that she's in an actual library. So she wants to read that book specifically. So in all my looking up of books last week, that wasn't the one that I actually looked up. I just didn't think it was a thing. Super Frog Saves Tokyo comes from a short stories collection called After the Quake. All the stories in the collection have some relation to the 1995 Kobe earthquake. The story is about a debt collector named Katagiri who is visited by a giant frog, who asks for his help in preventing a deadly earthquake in Tokyo. The duo must fight a massive underground worm as big as a train. Train. That was awoken by the Kobe earthquake from a month ago. Again, all this talk about, again, the sarin stuff on the train, and there was some other disaster stuff just generally. There's been typhoons. This pretty explicit reference to a real-life tragedy. Again, they all kind of fold into each other in a cool way. Like, again, this kind of concept of fate and why me? That's a big question, right? Why me? Why me at this time? Why not anybody else? Is this part of God's plan? Did I do something wrong? Am I in control here, or is the universe ultimately in control of everything else? Again, it takes an event like this for you to ask those kind of questions, I feel. I would encourage you guys to look up the art of this book as well, because, again, it's pretty striking. And now that I'm thinking about frogs as well, we had that scene with Ringo and the frogs, of course, as well, so again, that's all very together. And again, specifically, Murakami also wrote a non-fiction book called Underground. The book is a series of interviews of both the victims of the attacks as well as some of the members of the Orm cult. So again, we were talking about cults earlier with the kind of end of the world train stuff, so Again, it's all kind of coming together there a little bit. And again, seems like a pretty direct inspiration. Murakami wanted to capture how the average Japanese citizens were affected, to examine where Japanese society went wrong, what might have caused these individuals to join the cult in the first place. Again, that discussion of fate and all that, I think, as well, right? Kind of this crisis of faith leading them down that path almost. Is society at fault there somewhat? Anyway, interesting discussions to be had, and again, kind of setting us up to talk about some stuff in the future, I would say. I completely forgot, this is bad, I forgot about the Triple H stuff. I forgot about the two idols and the whole Himari. It's unclear what Himari did, or something happened to Himari to the point where she doesn't go to school and she fell out with the two girls, and that's part of her motivation, is to get back there. And again, we're attaching that to Super Frog Saves Tokyo, that book that's now in her possession. So, watching out for that, I guess. I don't know. These two characters that were, I guess I kind of compartmentalize them as the Shadow Girls equivalent. They seem like they're actually pretty important. One thing I was going to talk about as well, one of them has like a reddish hue of hair, one of them has a bluish hue of hair. It's kind of a little bit like the brothers, so something to look at there maybe. If not directly, then maybe metaphorically. Let's get those patrons up. We'll give them a shout out and then we'll just jump in here. As always, if you wanted to be that 1 week ahead of the public uploads, Patreon is there for you. $6 a month. You get every episode 1 week early, exclusive voting rights, Discord perks, a bunch of other stuff, if I can speak. Anyway, many people have done this, up to and including Mickey Babbers, Trails++, Bananarama Hama Damasama, Bobbin, Chubby Ribby, Dapper Dwarf, Domibot, Ichu, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fleur Nightingale, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Greybeard, Gus N, Ika, Ice, Iria, Yako Yavanen, Jacob R, Joran, Kelvin, Clem, Nosta, Cot Begemot, Lick H, Lou, Master Detective, Max, Mistake L Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Parnick, Pencil Sharp 333, Ragashingo, Ronlad BNK, Saint Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Skeleton, Fueco, Without a Net, Yuan Kai Shu, Yuki Ali, Zach, Akomancer, Binshi, Hans Peter, Marsh, Voodoo Chili, Koichi Kaito, and Need. Thank you everybody for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into episode 10. Discord, like the video, all that kind of stuff. Let's get in here. Episode 10. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention as well, as I popped the episode up there with a time code of 23 minutes and 41 seconds. Yeah, fucking Shoma got hit by a car, and Ringo feels responsible, and she kind of almost went off the deep end. Like, it's almost at that breaking point for Ringo, I think. So I didn't really talk about that, but that's clearly what we're diving into now, so sure. And again, the episode 9 ended with Himari learning about this as well. We'll see what Kamba's go is, what Natsume's go is, because I think Natsume stole half the diary, so again, should have mentioned that stuff. Anyway, picture in the description below. I'm using the something DB file set, of course. I must remember. And yeah, let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm going to get reminded here, I think, of everything, which is good. He did get his ass beat. I wonder if Tabuki and Yuri are going to figure anything out. Maybe. I mean, I think Yuri already knows too. These things definitely sound good, but the soundproofing's kind of fucking with me, I'm going to be real. I almost want to do like that, so I can just kind of hear myself. I think I'll get used to it eventually. Sounds really good on them though. The other one would be, like, there would be a slight, and I mean very slight delay on audio, so... Again, I'm not noticing anything right now, so... Should be okay. Just on account of it being Bluetooth. But again, just inside baseball stuff, it's going to be really nice not to have to, like, cut out that one kind of cord as well that goes down my kind of torso for a thumbnail. It's going to be really nice. Okay, the lads. What are we doing? Shawarma POV? Yes. Same old hospital, eh? Okay. Little blush, that's cute. Okay. He cares for his brother. What do you mean you have to prepare breakfast? Oh, look at the penguins, that's great. Not just hit, you got, like, tossed. It was bad. Udasai. Nope, almost. Well, he did kind of save you, so... You know. That's nice. Little bit guilty? Maybe. I got hit by a car. Do you remember? Interesting. What a nice guy. Alright, what the hell's this? What am I looking at? Is this Natsume? I think it's Natsume. What the fuck was that? What do you mean? Explain yourself, show. Oh, Starbucks. Did any of them? Lots of stuff I hated. What? What a terrible thing to say. This guy's terrible. Listen to the music try to, like, play this like a romantic moment. Prison. He's a fucking idiot. From you. Again, pretty obvious scene there, but he's like... He loves his sister. A lot. Okay. Sure. Oh, he loved that. What a romantic scene. How are they related to each other again? He looks fucking weird there. You got hit by a car, dude. Didn't really answer my question. Got ripped. Somebody's got one half of it. The back half, too. Okay, so it was Natsume. She's like impersonating a nurse here? Mm-hmm. Okay, I was about to say they didn't see that. If somebody's putting a big syringe into my fruit, I don't want that. Like, at all. Show's great. Oh, that's great too. And out like that, huh? But what was the target? The target was the two of them? Yeah, she's like stolen them. Oh. The scene of the crime. Yeah, look at that. Esmeralda, of course. Based. Clearly the target's still Kanba, right? So we're getting Shawma to get to Kanba. Fair enough, okay. I respect the hustle. I'm just worried about the person that needs to clean those sheets. Poor Shawma, he's getting like tortured. The same person that fucking sniped your like girlfriends or whatever. by Natsume. Again, I know that they don't. Is he fishing for panties? Yes. It's a very, very interesting change in perspective for Ringo. Both names, too. Grandma. They got that GPS shit. Alright. I trust the process. I'm trusting the process. Yeah, again, this is a change of heart for sure. Ooh, that's cool. It's a really cool location for this. And yeah, it still makes sense in the world, right? Of course, there'd be like a big kind of clothesline for sheets at a hospital. It's a really cool shot too. Whoa! No! No way. What is it? It's a music box. Yeah. With a little sapling. That was a cool song, though. I feel like I've heard that song before in the show. Like it's something childhood for Kamba or something, right? I feel like it was part of one of the themes when they were younger. Also, where am I? I got turned into the penguin world. I'm in the upside down. Yeah, what the fuck? It looks cool now. Okay. What happened? This place is fucking hell to look at. All the repetition and stuff, it's very Monogatari again, too. Oh, yeah, pack lunches. Whoa. Revenge? Of course, it's always been revenge. Gosh, I must crush him, right? But is there a more specific story between the two? Am I getting deeper? Going down the stairs to each level? Moto Fukaku. Something like that. Wedding cake? The soundtrack's fucking awesome too. Spin, my boy. Oh. So now that that scene earlier with Himari is making a lot of sense. Oh, below ground, eh? What's below the surface? Well, maybe we're below ground, maybe it's the ground floor. It's unclear. Anyway, we're in Penguinville. Omoi. I don't remember, so could you please tell me? But you've still got the diary, so he didn't even bring it? Okay. Here's a live stream of him getting tortured. I mean, this went from 0 to 100 pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Physically, where is Kamba right now? I didn't expect Ringo to do this as well. I guess she feels bad after the whole car crash debacle. Damn. Wonder what Ringo's gonna do now. And what's on your wild goose chase? Okay, no, I mean, he's still here. What the fuck am I looking at? Oh yeah, she always had the night vision, I remember. What? What do you mean? Yusha-sama? Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Gosh, I must crush him indeed. With my pelvis. Yeah, again, I thought it was going that kind of way. And again, it explains her targeting all the X's and that kind of stuff. Seems like she's a little bit crazy, chat. Okay. Got any more for me? Yeah. Yeah, you were the kid at the thing in the last episode. Who the hell's Mario? It's a me? It seems like Natsume's... Well, this is a different song, too. Very similar to Ringo. I feel like she's doing this to get to Kamba. in the same way that Ringo is trying to get to Tabuki. Not obviously the same. It's still called Project M, so is Momika still involved there, or is it M mean maternity? This is the same song, but with different instrumental, I think? Maybe? Yeah, something like that. It's similar. That shot's definitely similar too. What an interesting episode. Yeah, Dear Future featuring Yui Horii, of course. So it seems like it was almost like Kamba forgot about her or something. That was like he needed to dig deeper into himself to find who it even was and what that experience was. This cover's really cool though. It's like really cool. It's kind of banging. Epic. Next time on. Okay. The bras and panties, sure. Okay. Yeah, we'll dive straight into episode 11 there. That was very odd. I'm sure I'll figure something out about what's going on. I'm sure. But yeah, I definitely saw that kid before and I'm like, I know who that is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, episode 11 coming right up. Radio episode 11 up, they're ready to go. 23 minutes and 41 seconds on that one, so sync up accordingly with your own copy. DB file set, picture and picture in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. Natsume. Kanba. Camera. Was it penguins dressed up as something? Hang on. Okay. I want to crush him. Oh, it's Kamba's like, yeah. It's like his Western theme. But they've got like the samurai dude. Hell yeah. I'm happy Kamba's getting a bit more involved too. It felt like the Ringo Shorma show for a bit. Oh, yep, still got the sweater. What a terrible picture. Just because I feel like it. Don't feel like I'm taking advantage of it. I guess I need to get used to it a little bit. I don't know. Obviously, it's messing with the audio too. If I do that too much, it's very freeing. It's like nice. I don't know. I'm in a bit of a weird mood today. I went for a run this morning, and I'm a bit hyper. Maybe not the best mind kind of set to be watching this show. I'm low-key keen for like Natsume to explain some stuff. I'm ready for some exposition, I feel. But I mean, I must, mention Utena again as well. This feels very like this Mario versus Himari type thing is very like Anshi versus was it Mamiya? That feels right. Mikage and Mamiya. And again, not spoilers for Utena, but that's an interesting conversation to have too. Oh, this is very classy. Not really. You were kind of kidnapped by brother. Yeah, this show's really good. Okay. But yours is deeper than that. Natsume TV. Oh, this is great. No, it's still stalking. Ooh, that word, huh? The fuck is that? Okay, T. What did he say? Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. Hmm. Do you? Everything, everything? Okay. Because the other one needs it. Yeah. Yeah. Very surprised we're revealing this to Kamba now. The curse? Who has the other half then? I thought it was you. I thought it was you. What are you going to do now, Ringo? This guy fucking loves a dumpling. Yeah, that's a little bit insulting. Very, very good. Yeah, like, if anything's important to her, it's the fucking diary, and she gave it up. By fucking Tabuki? Exceptionally romantic, you say? Why is bro farting? Okay. Your you, not anybody else is good. I like that. Stop farting! You're ruining the scene. Okay, the train hasn't stopped yet. There you go, that's better. Goodbye. That one word changed everything. Looks very mature there. Shauma. More witchcraft? Yeah, fair enough. Logical response. Mr. Frog? Mrs. Frog? What are we doing now? Explain. Miraculous frog? Drink 18 mil of my sweat? Miraculous frog, Project M? I'm going to sweat? No, head up, champ. Try again. It's not going to be pleasant. It's like a horror movie. Okay, sure. He can't escape? Special water indeed. Gamey? Yo. Lock him up. Yeah, this is pretty fucked up. Does witchcraft work in this world? Yes! Let's go! The drugs worked! Oh, that was great too. Wow. Chat, we won. Bro thinks he's smooth? Very Utena. I know I say it a lot, but I'm seeing Utena all over this thing. Okay. I'm waiting for the rug pull, but maybe there won't be one? I can't believe witchcraft worked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. Interesting response. I'm thinking about your shiny, shiny head. What an odd thing to say. I think she's a bit busy. Okay. Well, I kind of roofied you. It's weird. Yeah. I mean, you're not. You're right. I'm not going to let you escape. I can't read. Look at the tone change instantly. Love the background. This episode's fantastic. Mm, I can't take this seriously with the audio in the background. Make it to the fabulous max. One night only. Once every 16 years, this is your chance. This is cute. Look at his stupid hands. Himari's just confused. It's a really interesting reaction. Oh, hat, by the way. Oh, what is this song? So the song! I guess we're short on time, which I think we are. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Himari. Huh? Of course. Yep. I didn't know that the timing was that specific. I don't think that's... No. No. What? Okay, there was some kind of revelation there. Okay, no. What? How does that make any sense? And also the timing's all fucked up. How old's Momika? 32? She would have been 32? Is Tabuki 32? Because 16 doesn't make any sense. Because she's 16 now, but she was talking to Tabuki in that one scene when he was, like, graduating high school, it seemed like. And he must have been 18, right? And then Ringo would have been, like, 2. But she wasn't 2 in that scene, right? Clearly. Yeah, if anybody has any stuff regarding timeline there, that'd be great. I'm guessing more will be revealed as we continue as well, so I'm not overly concerned, but the revelation that the lads are somewhat responsible for Momika's death? Is that why... I seem to remember Shauma having somewhat of a reaction upon hearing the name Momika, maybe? We'll see. I don't know if I'm confused or not. We will reread. We will reassess, of course. Whatever you say. Sure. Yeah, the timeline's fucking with me a little bit there. I don't know, I might need to go reassess. We'll see. Analysis coming up. And we're back, episodes 10 and 11 of Penguindrum in the books. I'm a little bit confused on timeline, as I've mentioned a couple of times. The only thing would be that one scene between Tabuki and Ringo back in the day, where they had their meeting with the cats and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's when Tabuki finishes college? Something like that. And again, that's kind of that link there. Also, parents are very old. If they had a kid, the kid grew up to be 16, and then they had another kid, first kid died. Parents are pretty old, unless they had Momoko when they were very young. Again, just an interesting one. And again, obviously there's more to that, the boys being born on the same day as well. The father and the parents having a little bit of a prominent role in the show. They would potentially be involved with Momoko's death somehow, and the boys learnt of this after the fact and chose not to tell her. I think there's something like that going on anyway. Either way, this was a pretty jam-packed set of 2 episodes. Really enjoyed some of the direction of episode 10 in particular. I went and looked it up already. Keiji Goto, I believe, who has done... The only thing I recognize that he did was Inspector, which is the pretty recent show, had a couple seasons. I generally liked it. It felt like Monogatari light, but it was good. So yeah, again, just specifically the section here towards the end of the episode where we kind of change up the art style a lot is really, really cool. I really loved all this stuff. Again, kind of taking these kind of creative swings as a show, which I didn't see very early on, I guess. Visually, I mean, writing-wise, the show's bonkers, obviously. So, yeah, what are the takeaways here? Natsume's crazy about Kamba. She's a stalker, obviously reflecting the other stalkings that have been going on in the show thus far. Shauma stalking Ringo, obviously very early, and then Ringo stalking Tabuki. She's that, but for Kamba. And she has a lot more resources and seems a lot more gung-ho about it. She also wants to change fate somehow, probably has to do with Kamba, and is, again, in possession of a person that can do that with the penguin headdress. Basically, if we're going to have a fate bride or a bride of fate, this is the rival bride of fate, per se. And again, Rose Bride, there was a rival Rose Bride, of course, in Utena. And again, I'm just going to spoil it here. In Utena, they were the same person. It was Archie both times. So I don't know. I don't know. He's not going to do the same twist twice, I don't think, but he could. It's just an interesting one to talk about. And again, Sanetoshi being involved there, I think there was some general romantic implication. Obviously, you have Super Frog Saves Tokyo. She has her book in that kind of side of the equation too. Is this a far-spanning thing? What did Momoka have to do with this? Again, we'll talk about it more, I guess, as we continue. I really like this show. I like it a lot. And there's no caveat there. There's no, but coming. It's just I think it's really good. And has these... Basically, every minute of this has something interesting going on. Whether it be visually or writing-wise. It's just really well done. It's really, really well done. Yeah, let's go back through here. And I'll see what I can see. I'm just, again, confused on a few things, but maybe this rewatch will clarify. Normally I want to complain about extended kind of length previews from the previous episodes. Again, I'm watching the show pretty actively. I've seen all this stuff. I know it. But in this particular circumstance, I didn't mind it, considering I had the week off for Christmas. So it was actually a good reminder to get me back into the swing of where these 2 characters were specifically. As we saw in episode 9, Himari is now aware of Shauma getting run over, essentially, probably calls an ambulance, gets him all out there, gets him out to hospital. Kamba obviously gets involved too. He likes his brother, he likes his family, he wants to keep them together, and he's acting very tsundere here, which I found to be quite endearing. Again, just kind of scolding him, but obviously caring about him, even saying some stuff here. You turned white as a sheet when the hospital called us, and then it's like, no, don't tell him that. Yeah, fantastic. The penguins are a delight. I'm really, really enjoying them as a kind of device in the show to keep it visually interesting, right? So again, we have Himari's penguin over here and Himari nursing their kind of Shawma equivalents back to health. And again, keeping an eye on these penguins is one of the highlights of the show. I think it's just a really, really cool thing that they're consistently doing. I will say the show still has its moments where the characters look a little bit funny, like this one. It's not fantastic, but I would say if you're gonna have this in the show and also this great visual stuff at the very end, then I'm going to take that every single time. So Kamba's being a tsundere in there, and it's like, oh yeah, we'll go get Ringo in. Ringo's a very interesting one to follow these 2 episodes, just her kind of change of heart. Again, the first core of the show has been so much about her being, like, on a level she needs to do this one thing to make everything right. We've gone into her as a character study, how her relationship with her parents, and specifically her father, is impacting this as well, I think. The kind of feeling of his second family, that feeling of her being replaced and having nothing, if that makes any sense. If I'm not me, I can be Momoka. Momoka is somebody to someone. That's when the family was happy. If I can do this, everyone will be happy again and we can eat curry, right? Kind of that scene with the dad and his new family, again, exacerbating that feeling of being replaced and needing to find a place in the world to be loved, right? And again, that's the beautiful thing over these 2 episodes, is her coming to this realization that she is being loved and that she loves somebody else. And that's Shawma, right? She has this curry with their family and she feels good, at least momentarily, right? And finding that instead of pining after something that my sister did ages ago is probably healthy, right? Finding your own new things instead of just inheriting kind of flames of the past. I think that's just fantastic. That sounds good. Yeah, specifically, again, this is the start of the change of heart. Ringo, very early in the show, wouldn't give up the diary to anybody for anything, right? It's the most important thing to her, to the point where she's doing batshit insane things with Tabuki all the time to get with him, right? It's kind of this realization that, people around me that care about me and that I care about can get hurt based on my actions if I'm too reckless here, right? Again, specifically, Shawma jumping out in front of her in traffic is literally sacrificing his life for hers. If that's not love, then what is, you know? I think the idea here as well is that Shawma doesn't reveal the truth to Himari and Kamba. Again, you feel sheepish about this because you think that they'll blame you for his injuries and him needing to go to hospital. But again, he doesn't choose to reveal that information, therefore you're just fine. It was just an accident, not her fault, specifically the dialogue there, which kind of makes her feel better about things, or kind of guilty as well. Again, it's a weird one for Ringo, these 2 episodes. And then this comes out of nowhere. We see a penguin sharpening a blade, right? Fair enough. We see a kidnapped woman, and again, it's implied that somebody's changing into their uniform over here. Again, it's very interesting to contrast this with Ringo, who does do batshit stuff like this, but is kind of starting to like pull back a little bit from being like super crazy Stalker. This is somebody that's taken that to the nth degree, somebody that's gone even further than her, right? And is willing to do immoral things all the time. There's also an element of social class to it, of course. Ringo's a little bit lower socioeconomic than Natsume is. So again, she has the means to be able to pursue this with as much further as she does. Again, she is purely batshit. Again, Ringo kind of comes to her senses upon somebody else getting hurt because of her actions. Natsume is willing and able to hurt other people to get what she wants. She's almost like, as Shawma is to Kamba, Ringo is to Natsume. Think about that one. Just let it kind of hit you. Of course, the foreshadowing here of all the kind of gas fire things as well, used to torture my guy here at a moment. Jesus. Very, very good scene here early. I love kind of like absentmindedly you're just doing your knitting. You're just watching her because, again, you like your sister, if I haven't made that clear. Before, like, she says something and he's almost startled by that. Like, oh, I was just kind of admiring you. I didn't expect you to actually talk to me or anything like that. It's interesting to see Kamba get flustered, which again we'll continue to see in this scene. This is actually pretty masterfully hidden plot setup stuff. Like, hey, have you ever gotten gifts from a girl? What did you like? What didn't you like? That kind of question, right? Again, he doesn't have an example in his life of something he's gotten from a girl that he actually enjoyed. Again, because he likes only one girl, and that's you, I think. But again, the opposite question, have you ever gotten presents you didn't like? Yeah, I got a ton of examples. And again, it's very funny that all those examples belong to Natsume. It's almost kind of like this feeling of a, like a suppressed memory for you, like something you don't want to think about, these kind of stalkings of the past where you've gotten these unwanted gifts. He's also really dense here, like very clearly she's been knitting for a reason. Like, what would you like to get? And then he's like, oh, nothing. It's like, oh, what would you hate to get? And then he brings up like something that was knitted. Are you an idiot? Maybe. Again, he's just kind of... It's very funny. He's a playboy with everybody else, but he gets very flustered around his sister. She's like the only one that can kind of press the buttons there. Again, ignoring the incestual weirdness of it all, I guess, as well. It's kind of sweet, just a little bit, if you forget everything about the show. And yeah, we go through it here. It's pretty obvious stuff. I hate elaborate bento boxes. I hate humongous cakes. And of course, I hate stuff that's kind of knitted with love for me, that has my name on it and I need to wear it all the time and all that kind of stuff. And again, this is discouraging Himari, which causes him to rescind, but again, this is all just set up for later. It's set up for the Natsume stuff. I think this is interesting too, as kind of he's explaining this and how there were all these lovely gifts for him from other girls that he didn't appreciate. We're contrasting this with a scene of the Penguin doing something pretty inappropriate with a couple of ladies that don't know any different, right? Again, it's like this feeling of general disregard for women and their feelings, and that kind of stuff is expressed through both Kamba and his penguin in the scene. One obviously more raunchy than the other. That's generally the joke we use for the penguin down here, if I can show him. But yeah, I think it's an interesting mix of the visual and the audio here. And again here, poor Himari, like she's clearly been like knitting for a long time in the show, and she's been like knitting for him the entire time, and she kind of gets a kind of bubble burst here a little bit. Like, my point is, who else in the show is getting Kamba to profess his love in a public setting like this and, you know, scream out and overcompensate and sweat and be nervous and all this kind of stuff? Again, clearly Himari is different to him. Like, he's cool and suave and stuff and you know, doesn't like to show this side of himself. And this only comes out again, when he's around her, you know. Himari then exits stage left, of course, to go get some clothes for Shauma, so she's not involved in any of the craziness that happens from here. Yeah, again, don't want to sound like a broken record, but he's, yeah, that kind of temperature rising on the thermometer there too. Again, it's different. It's different around her, you know? So, because I like to contrast the brothers so much as well, what is Shauma doing in the scene just after it, right? He is being very, very selfless. Again, he jumped in the way of a car for Ringo, right? But he's more worried about her scraped knees and all that kind of stuff. Again, when Kabe in the previous scene is showing general disregard for women and their advances on him and that kind of stuff, right? He's a bit of a playboy and all that kind of stuff. Wouldn't show this level of care, I would say. Again, just how the brothers differentiate themselves. I think the penguin down here may be trying to say something as well. Generally, this penguin's kind of dumb, so maybe not, but you're a little bit more hurt than you're letting on. You're trying to put on a brave face for Ringo, again, being inherently selfless in the process. Even asking after the diary instead of, you know, letting yourself be the victim here. So here's my thing with the diary. I thought you stole the other half. I thought you were the person on the bike that drove the bike and ripped the other half. It's not you. That's someone else. And they're wearing a helmet, which tells me that they're in the show already. Am I making sense? Like, who else would want half of the diary? Who? That's a mystery, right? Who has that other half? That's crazy. So another pretty obvious connection here for me is obviously Natsume, like, putting sleeping pills essentially in his food, something that Ringo did like 2 episodes ago, right? Very similarly, they both kind of faint into the food upon that happening, right? Getting a face full of food. Again, the same stuff that happened in episode 8 with before with Tabuki, right? Again, the lengths that these specific characters will go to get what they want. Obviously, again, Natsume going further down that path. Just some of the framing here is really good. I just like how you're obviously hiding your identity and hiding kind of like behind the curtain as well, if that makes any sense. You're disguised, you're not showing your true intentions. There's this kind of shadowy figure tension to it all, I think. Wouldn't be the first time in these 2 episodes I would say that almost horror movie or thriller movie stuff is being kind of invoked, especially episode 11 for sure. Almost a straight up Shining pastiche, I would say. Like a little parody there at the end of episode 11. Yeah, just love the kind of lenses by which the show goes through. I think that's really cool. Like, it's very versatile. It does a lot of stuff. Specifically here as well, I've mentioned it previously, I love the transitions between, like, yeah, that was it. Like, between that face and it just kind of goes to a different face, you know? Like, there to there. That stuff's just really fantastic. It's a really great kind of stylish flourish, and obviously the spoon falling there. Just this kind of visual language of these kind of movies, this kind of almost spy stuff, you know? Just a really, really, really cool sequence. I will say her plan's kind of convoluted. Like, if you want the diary, you should have just figured out a way for Ringo to leave her bag somewhere and just steal it. I don't know about kidnapping Shauma and all that kind of stuff. I guess Kamba's the goal. You want to give him a smooch and all that kind of stuff too, of course. Specifically here, Natsume has named her penguin Esmeralda. Is that anything? Should I look up the name Esmeralda? There's only one Esmeralda I know, and that's in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. So I don't know what we're trying to say there, but let me look it up, maybe. I read a Wikipedia article on The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it said that it generally has a theme of fate and destiny and determinism. Anything? Maybe. And again, I'm not particularly familiar with the story, considering how different the novel is from the Disney adaptation. Weird one. If anybody has any extra knowledge there, that'd be great. Because, yeah, again, Esmeralda is very specific for a name. I'm definitely getting this hunting theme too. That comes through in the start of the next episode more prominently. But thinking back, she's been a character that often, like, snipes and has, like, a slingshot and, like shoots to kill and all that kind of stuff, right? She sneaks around in the dark and does nefarious deeds and all that kind of stuff, right? She sees it as a game. She sees it as a hunt, exactly, right? She sees it as that kind of stuff. Yeah, just interesting way to look at love, for sure. Very, very, very aggressive. Very quickly from there, Kamba and Ringo discover that Shauma's gone missing, and then the ransom kind of starts, right? Hand over half of the diary, otherwise Shauma Takakura is dead. There's also a link to a live stream of him, like, literally being almost, almost, like, medievally tortured. There's, like, knives, and he's, like, strung up on that board. You know, the one that, like, stretches him out like that? It's almost like he's being, like, tortured like that. It's very confronting, right? Even if, honestly, I don't think he's in that much danger. I don't think Natsume would kill. I don't think so. But again, she knows that it'll make them act, and that's half the battle. I also just like the idea of being able to live stream. Like, there's a service that can live stream somebody being, like, ransomed and, like, tortured. Like, who's hosting this? Live Leak Live? What's going on? Again, I think this penguin's actions here are a microcosm of the entire episode as well. Kind of like fishing for panties, so to say, which is a weird thing to say, but anyway. Before getting in over his head, it being not what he expected, all that kind of stuff. We must remember that Kamba's taken shady money as well, so he could think that they're kind of taking, like, the brother for ransom for that kind of stuff as well. A lot to think about. And then it turns out, oh, it's Natsume, and I forgot about Natsume, and she's been stalking me this entire time. And yeah, it's kind of like when the grandma is revealed to be the kind of person whose panties these are, right? Like, he just fishes one too many times and gets in over his head and doesn't get what he wanted. Of course, Ringo's interesting here too, showing genuine concern for Shauma, giving up that half of the diary, of course, and again, we know how important it is to her. It is the ticket to literally happiness in her life, of her current perspective, so she's willing to give that up for Shauma. Again, it's kind of tit for tat. He saved my life, I'm willing to give up something for him. So Kamba tries to pull a fast one here, because he doesn't bring the diary with him. Instead, he brings a dirty magazine, which kind of catches fire and goes somewhere else, right? But again, I believe that Natsume has accounted for this, and then gets Ringo to drop the diary off elsewhere. I think that's what happens. So again, Shauma trying to get one up, stealing those extra panties with the penguin. It's Grandma's panties. Oh, fuck, it's Natsume. Kind of that kind of vibe to it. And of course, Kamba's got selfish motivations in this as well, of getting her to keep the diary. If we need this for Himari, we can't have the other half of the diary going anywhere for any reason. But again, you care for your it's a weird one, right? You care for your brother, but you clearly care for Himari more. This represents the chance that Himari will live, right? That's what it represents for Kamba. But he's willing and able to risk Shauma potentially being tortured and killed by some rando. He doesn't feel the kind of weight of the ransom as much as Ringo does, right? Which again, I think shows to their general level of opinion of Shauma. You're in love with Shauma, even if you don't know it yet. You're a little bit more in love with Himari, and you're willing to do anything for that, as we've seen through the rest of the show. Again, he's also got supreme self-confidence, that being Kamba. Again, that whole playboy side of him. He thinks he can pull a fast one. He breaks the rules, he doesn't follow the rules, you know? And again, there's this general, like, kind of ego to it as well. Who could possibly be chasing me that would be better than me, you know? I think, again, and then in over your head, trapped in the dark, and you get smooched. Oh my god, how terrible. This feels like the natural extension of the scene that was kind of near that playground before with the two other exes that got shot. Just this kind of, I don't know who's shooting, again, action movie kind of vibe to it. Again, I think this bag here was meant to be the diary, and then it kind of catches fire and goes somewhere else, you know? Again, she saw them right through the plan. She didn't think that was the diary, even for 1 second. Again, she knows Kamba. Again, she's probably even watching him right now, as many screens as she has, you know? Now, this music box is a very, very interesting one. I feel like I've seen this sapling somewhere before as well. Was it on the back of the diary? Maybe? No, I don't feel like it's on the diary, but it's somewhere. There's also this song that's playing. I feel like this is the song that's playing in episode 5, maybe. Kind of? Kind of not really. Bun, dun, 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 dun. Very similar, I'm not sure, but kind of similar, I would say. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, if anybody has any extra on that, that'd be great. The significance of the music box here. Do you remember now and then smashing the box with the bullet? Yeah. Because Natsume knows some shit too. Interesting. One to watch. And then from there, the kind of style of the place even changes, right? And then it turns into kind of Natsume luring him into a trap. So the penguin here is very interesting, and this kind of, that same music blaring now, not just a music box, now it's overbearing, almost changing the entire space. The use of color here too, these kind of calmer blues, as he's looking for Shauma, who's very much associated with blue as a color too. That could be something there. The penguins. The penguins are everywhere. The penguins are associated with like this Pingu Corp type company, which I've seen a number of places. Specifically on the back of some of the books in Sanatoshi's library, Place of Madness Dreams or whatever. There was also a very prominent billboard for the kind of company in that scene where Natsume was kind of shooting them all from the ledge. Yeah. So, one to watch. Again, more will be revealed there. I think the dad's involved with this company or something. Kenzan or whatever. This feels this is a really cool scene. It's really disorientating. The kind of contrast between the kind of patterns on the walls and the sharper reds over here, and the kind of descent theme to it as well, as he's kind of digging deeper into his past and figuring some stuff out. Disorientating is definitely the word. And again, the kind of penguin company and that kind of being involved here. I feel like the characters know something that we don't right now about the significance of what's going on here. And again, maybe we'll get into that upon episode 12. It seems like we're leaning into, again, some significance around Momika's death and the birth of all these kids and whatever. Yeah, definitely probably the highlight sequence of this episode. I think there's some better stuff next episode, but still really, really good. Just again, I've kind of talked about it already, the kind of packed lunches, the big extravagant cake, the knitted sweater with my name on it that's oversized and full of love. Again, this is Natsume reminding Kamba here of all the stuff that she's done for him, right? All the love that she showed him, and he's not reciprocating, you know? It's almost taunting. It's taunting that it's, hey, it's me, remember me, you know? And again, a great use of repetition here as we always round this corner and go down the stairs, music blaring the entire time, finding all of these kind of different items, that kind of rule of threes to it as well. This time the big extravagant cake, almost a wedding cake. Again, way too extra, obviously, but again, I'm going to imagine that Kamba didn't show her much love in the moment either. Does this say Kamba with an M? Why does it say that? I know sometimes it's interchangeable. Like sometimes you'll go with a Kamba instead of a Kanba. Yeah, just if anybody has any extra knowledge, I'm all ears. Forcing him here even to wear the unfinished sweater. Like, put this on, it's got your name on it, it's full of love, wear it now, please. There's some specific stuff around, I think, a red string of fate here as well that gets mentioned a little bit later in some more specific terms that I will end up Googling, of course. I must reference, of course, my favorite show, Revolutionary Girl Lieutenant. Something around a descent into somebody's past and digging below the surface to something that they wanted to repress is definitely something that's pretty analogous between the two shows, I would say. Kind of going below the floor here, kind of seeing behind the veil. I think there's, something to that. And then, the use of the penguins here as well, as they kind of run across the screen like that. Again, more and more clarity coming into the frame for Kamba specifically as he's learning who's actually behind this. You finally remembered everything. You remembered our relationship, and again, it's probably got some significance here. I'm seeing something like, okay, Pingu Corp, I've got these bullets that can do this, that have the kind of penguin on them. Is Natsume like the daughter of the people that made the company or something like that? That would track for me, right? Like, she's clearly from money and has a lot of disposable income. Her parents rich to that regard. And again, it contrasts that with Kamba, who's obviously very poor, needing to take loans and whatever. I wonder if at some point there's going to be, hey Kamba, let me pass you some money if you'll be my boyfriend or husband or whatever. Maybe. At the same time as this wild goose chase is happening for Kamba, Ringo gets a call here. Hey, you just give me the diary. He's off doing something else. The live stream's still ongoing. I've got fucking 3 butane cans pointed at his head with fire on them. Clearly I'm gonna kill him. Give me the diary. Again, identifying here that the weak link is actually you. Of course, almost reading that from the nurse interaction before, no? Because, seeing those two interacting, how they were interacting while she was a nurse and kind of intuiting that almost. That's kind of cool. Broken record, of course, but very Monogatari. Look at this shit. Yeah, just stinks of it for sure. And I keep saying it's significant moment for Ringo here, obviously giving up the diary. Specifically apologizing to her late sister in doing so. I'll never be you. I'll never accomplish what you wanted me to accomplish, all that kind of stuff, right? Now, of course, that's the front half of the diary. The back half of the diary is still missing. We don't know where it is. We don't know who could have stolen it. Obviously, a point of contention for the rest of the show is who was on that motorcycle that one night, Obviously a woman, and hiding her figure somewhat, hiding her face. So, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who it could possibly be. I seem to remember Natsume having night vision before, but Kamba's, they turn out all the lights, nobody can see anything, and Natsume starts to tease Kamba somewhat, right? I could finally see him wearing the sweater that I made for him. I could see him squirm. I even specifically get some pictures of him, which I now hold dear. Lots of good stuff. Specifically picking at the color of the sweater here of being pigeon's blood. Okay, like a hunter, I think that's the vibe we're getting at with the pigeon's blood. Because again, I'm hunting you. I'm treating my pursuit of you romantically like I'm killing you. Like I'm going to murder you and eat your meat. It's definitely a little bit more intense than, general stuff. It's even intense for this show, considering Ringo's at least a step down from this, you would say. She doesn't have night vision goggles, at least not yet. In a way, these two are kind of made for each other. They both take things too far and don't take no for an answer. I don't know. If only they liked each other, maybe a little bit. Like if you liked her, I don't know. Of course, the penguin's reflecting what's going on here as well. You being trapped by the yarn, looking around, not knowing what's going on when the assailant is right next to you. You are the treacherous hero who followed Aridin's red thread all the way here. Let me look that up. Aridin. Okay, so there's some pretty cool stuff going on here. Let me just read this. I think this is probably the best expression of it. It's about love and betrayal. It's obviously referencing the story of Theseus in the Labyrinth and the Minotaur, of course. On Crete, Theseus seduced Minos' daughter, Ariadne, we're going to say, who conspired to help him kill the Minotaur and escape by giving him a ball of yarn to unroll as he moved throughout the labyrinth. Theseus managed to flee Crete with Ariadne, but abandoned her on the island of Naxos during the voyage back to Athens. So again, kind of loved her, seduced her, played her, and then left her aside once she had kind of given off her usefulness, so to say. And again, you can read into that however you will. I think this is very interesting with kind of the backstory of Natsume, if she's kind of referring to something like this. Felt like there was a connection between the two before Kamba abandoned her, so to say. again, that's why she's wanting to get the revenge now, even insultingly using the red thread in that kind of way. Again, this kind of intertextuality stuff isn't something you get every day, I would say. Who's the Minotaur in this kind of metaphor as well is an interesting one to consider. And Dionysus, the one who eventually rescued her and married her. Isn't this guy fucking love wine? Yeah. Okay. Maybe another one to look at too. The other one obviously is some of the Red String of Fate stuff, which has been largely, you guys should know what that is, I think. Again, basically a destined partner. It's pretty, from the pigeon blood stuff to this, it's a pretty like eclectic mix of metaphors, representing her love for him, I guess I would say. And again, he made his way through the labyrinth of the hospital here and deserves a little reward in turn, a little bit of a smooch on the lips. Again, and purposefully conflating the hunting motif with the kissing stuff here, pretty directly, right? What I'm after is a kiss from you, in the same way I finally landed that shot on your head and killed you. And again, I like Natsume, I think she's kind of cute, so I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. She's just kind of obsessive, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess. I don't know. Maybe there is. She does seem intense. And again, turning on the light, just at that moment she's run away, planting one on him. But again, he knows what's going on now. She's almost toying with her prey, if we wanted to take that one step further too. So now she's obtained the diary, she can't wait to see what happens next. Obviously keen on using the diary. Again, if it literally shows someone's fate, she's going to follow the steps to be with Kanba. I think that's probably the logical end of that, right? She still is referencing Project M as well, so that's clearly got some importance. Weird. I don't know what's honestly going on there. And then to make matters worse, we have Mario, which is also another M as well, now that I think about it. I'm not a pathetic hunter that lets my prey escape. And again, Mario reveals themselves here, of course. Pink eyes all the same. We clearly saw this child at the aquarium that day. That's all I'm saying. Weird one. I don't know. One to consider. On to the next episode now, and it's a fun reinterpretation of the "gosh, I must crush him" thing. Because, I wonder if that's a purposeful pun in the English translation. Crush as in, I have a crush on as well. Yeah, whenever she says that, essentially it's like, oh, he looks hot today. I want to bone him. Or, you know, whatever else, smooch. Let's be PG-13 here. Yeah, weird. It's a recontextualization, of course. You thought that she was out for revenge when, in fact, her revenge would be loving him. It's a contradiction, you know? Obviously really loving the penguin with the kind of samurai helmet and the ruler. Just good gear, obviously. The implication would be that she can even see the penguin too, which is kind of funny. And again, very creepy now. Let's put that fucking sweater on a mannequin, because I know he's approaching, and pin like a creep shot of him, essentially, right? And again, like, I think Kanba's penguin's taken creep shots of girls in the show already, so it's almost like here's your just desserts. Here's somebody like you pursuing you. A bit of taste of your own medicine, maybe. But again, it's not a particularly flattering picture either. But yeah, if it makes her happy, it makes her happy. Yeah, this is definitely a thing, because then she's like, it's not bad to be the hunted for once, right? Again, like referencing that he would normally be the hunter. And again, maybe a little bit of gender analysis there, I would say. Men generally are the hunters, I would say. But I think Natsume finds comfort in this kind of back and forth between this as well. Her being openly a little bit more aggressive, matching his energy almost. Yeah, something to that. Of course, this shot being very direct as well. The predator and the prey in this regard, right? The beast and the hunter. Natsume also has a really, really specific thing about art and how Kanba is perceived and how she wants to perceive him. A canvas lays a subject bare. A live person doesn't think twice about telling lies. That goes for the both of us, right? So therefore I make art because art becomes truth. So lying is almost like hunting in this metaphor almost. Because in hunting you would use deceit as one of your tactics. But again, in art, maybe showing these two sides to Natsume, there is an element of truth to this. There is an underside of this, which is obsession, which is this is my truth. I'm painting my truth, you know. Very specifically as well, I must say that he is in the prince costume, the very obvious prince costume that Ringo always imagines Tabuki in. In that way, contrast Ringo's go-to of the image there being kind of this shoujo manga, cartoonish, a lot of blushy, big eyes, you know, all that kind of stuff, where you've got a little bit more of a mature palette. It's a piece of art, it's a portrait instead of a manga, and it's a little bit more realistic, it's a little bit more formed, but it's still that same obsession. Again, almost a more adult obsession than Ringo's. Yeah. Again, contrasting Natsume and Ringo now is very, very interesting. Yeah, she almost seeks eternity in a way in art, and again, Utena reference aside, yeah, just a very, very, very interesting character. Like, love is fleeting, these feelings are fleeting, words can be deceit, but art is truth, and truth will be enduring. Link this into all the fate stuff and maybe even some of the immortality stuff that's going on in the show a little bit as well. Yeah, and Kamba kind of breaks through this kind of lovely day, I would say, and the windows and all that kind of stuff, and again digs a little bit deeper. No, get off me, I don't love you, you're a stalker. That's why you have all these TVs here, this symbol again, of course, as well. Yeah, it's not this loving portrayal that you're portraying it as, let me cut through the bullshit. It's actually this, it's actually obsession, you're a weirdo. Specifically here conflating loving and hunting again looking to be the victor in love. You are the prey if I am the victor. You being crushed will be my victory. And to enjoy the hunt, both people must be on equal footing. That's why I found you. You're that kind of perfect match almost to my personality. Yeah. Because again, you try to hunt, you put out like the ransom. You try to break the ransom. You know that he's going to break the ransom. There's this back and forth to it that I don't think would exist with a person like Shoma. Again, you two are kind of perfect for each other. At least a little bit. There's also a pretty clear reference here to a meeting a long time ago between the two. Do you remember what you said to me that time? Kamba brushing it off as some kind of childish delusion. Again, maybe promised her the world, a la Theseus, and then, yeah, left her stranded, left her abandoned. And again, instead of taking the tea that she offered, instead dropping the bullet in it, hey, explain this instead. And again, now the motivations are way more clear about why you did what you did. They were romantic rivals. They loved you, and I love you, so clearly they can't be in the picture. They need to forget about you. That's why I've been shooting them all this time. Yeah, really, really clear one for me now as well is the use of the bullets, whether they be, you know, actually magic or some spy shit or whatever's going on. That's neither here nor there. It's more what they do and how we're contrasting that with what Natsume was just talking about with eternity in art and truth in art and people lie and people deceive and blah, 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 blah. If you can take away somebody's memory and take away their eternity in a way, then you can manipulate the truth. You know what I mean? Like manipulate what is actually being perceived and make something that actually lasts forever. It's a pretty powerful tool, and again, I'm seeing very much in line with what she's talking about and what she's about in total. If she can mess with somebody's brain and make them forget certain shit, isn't that like total control? Isn't that like painting the world in your own image, so to say? Yeah, I kind of see that for sure. Yeah, here, very intriguing dialogue too, in inferring that you have a secret, and that secret will come out eventually. And again, maybe that's what we're doing by the very end of the episode, right? That secret's finally being revealed through that kind of survival strategy sequence. It's that, or the secret is you're a sister lover, you're a siscon, and you're smooching your sister in her sleep. But again, why would you know that? Again, you're kind of a hyper stalker, so maybe you would know that, but what other secret would there be? I think it's what's going on in the end of the episode. That's what would make sense to me. And again, only one thing needs to drop and that whole secret's out, right? It's very tenuous at the moment. Again, using this kind of emperor penguin metaphor to get that across. Only one penguin needs to go down into the water and it be, you know, filled with seals for that penguin to die and to be that signal to everybody else that it's dangerous, you know? Only one thing needs to drop and then you're toast, basically. Of course, recentering the conversation a little bit more here, we have Kamba asking after the diary. If this is just a game to you, then give me the diary because it's way more important to me. No, we need it for our purposes as well. Mario reveals themselves and, yeah, you need the diary too. You're survival strategying like crazy as well. Which, again, did you die at the aquarium too? Did you follow Himari or what happened? I don't know. It's again, this is a mystery as it stands currently. I'm unsure. Kamba seems way more involved here. Yeah, the dialogue. Let's read this, right? Even if I had to fight you to save Mario, I'm not giving you over the diary. Who would have thought that the curse from 16 years ago would take this form? Huh. Ha ha ha. Okay. The penguin headdresses are something? Is that what we're talking about? Or is Mario literally the form of the curse? Or is it that side of it? I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know what they're referring to when they say this, but 16 years ago, when all these kids were born and when the parents were all around, seems very important. I would not be surprised at all if by the very end of, or next episode, we find that stuff out. We kind of get a little bit more of a flashback episode. And then here's a twist. I thought that Natsume had the diary. I've talked about that already, that I don't know who has it now, but yeah, again, you have this front half, the half that you got from Ringo. Where's the other half? Who the fuck has it? Yeah, again, huge reveal here. And again, specifically not telling Kamba that we don't have it either, you know, to keep him in the dark. He thinks that we have the whole diary. And again, that'll make him putty in my hands. Then we catch up with our good friends Shauma and Ringo, of course. They're on the train. Shauma's been kind of admitted from hospital. He's on his way home, and he's kind of scolding Ringo for giving away the diary. Again, I wasn't that hurt, blah, 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 blah. Showing this general level of lack of self-preservation when it comes to Ringo. Again, wanting to self-sacrifice at every turn, and again, does that sound like anybody? Utena reference. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, like, hey, almost blaming her and putting the blame on her for falling through on the ransom and giving away that thing, rather than thanking her for saving him, which again is the wrong tack to take and leads to this split up that they have in this scene. I do like how the episode comes full circle with this kind of stuff as well, this kind of cartoonish, slapsticky comedy stuff of her, like, tapping out on him, basically. Again, I'm frustrated with you for saying what you're doing right now, and then at the very end of the episode, I'm frustrated with myself for falling in love with you like I have. Yeah, just a fun little circle. It's good. Again, the same feeling from both scenes, right? How dare you make me give up on this Momika stuff, this stuff that's been so important to me, you know? Your presence here and your words must be the punishment that I have for giving up on destiny. But despite everything, Ringo remains resolute. She's going to continue with what she remembers of the diary. Basically, fuck Tabuki. I don't know where the rest comes from after that, but again, delusional still here, right? I'm his real wife. I'm not pretending, I'm not nothing, I'm not stalking him, no, this is who I am. But again, it's cope. She doesn't go through with it by the very end of the episode, you know? Like, it's not... Yeah, and again, you're saying all the right things here. Like, you say that you want to be Momika and everything that represents, the happy family that you want to have from that, right? The thing that you ultimately want to attain. But again, that's not you. That's not your destiny. You need to face the facts of the situation you're in right now, reassess, and go from there. Instead of, again, trying to attain this old version of happiness. Again, that classic kind of clanad sentiment, right? Whatever happened in the past is gone. That has happened. But you need to go forth and find new happy things. That's what this is all about. That's what living is, right? You can't live in the past. And Shauma specifically here saying that he's not helping. I'm not going to help you with this time. And it's this really serious scene, and there's this kind of penguin farting throughout the entire thing. It's much like a scene later in the episode as well, where Yuri and Ringo are having this really deep heart-to-heart, right, about her real feelings and all that kind of stuff. And in the back, you've got horny frogman just going off his head. Like, what is that? What is that? What are we doing? Pretending to be your sister is not going to bring back something that you've lost. Probably never will. And again, it's this kind of, like, what's the word? Separation between these two characters. She clearly disagrees here at this time, but the two will reconcile by the very end of the episode, right? I really like the art style change here, too. Very mature-looking Shauma. And again, those words themselves of kind of like looking back to the past and wanting to reclaim what was, and that it'll never be the same again. That probably resonates for you too, considering the whole dead family situation. But again, that's kind of what you're trying to do with Himari. You're kind of trying to put a square peg into a round hole and try to keep her alive by doing this random thing with the Penguindrum, right? Clearly you need to self-examine and see that she's actually gone as well, right? We can't actually reattain what we had before. She had a disease. She had a terminal illness. She was going to die at some point, you know? Yeah, an interesting one for sure. And then we go back and do some witchcraft. I'm not sure this is particularly worthy of a lot of analysis. There's a frog that appears once every 16 years. If a 16-year-old girl sweats on the frog and then produces 18 mil of sweat and then somebody drinks that, it turns into a love potion. I do like the soft confirmation that in this world, witchcraft is real. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, again, we'll talk about the frogs a little bit later as well and what we're trying to get at there. I think there's it's like a little mini Utena episode a little bit, in a really fun way. Without Shauma here, it seems like she's less excited about it, I guess. It's definitely different tonally. It's a little bit more scary and realistic, and it is interesting that this is the framing for the one time that it does work, the one time that she has actually seduced Tabuki, right? This is the setup, obviously, for the decision that she makes. She's showing hesitance here at every turn. It doesn't seem as fun. She doesn't seem to be interested in the prospect of doing the deed with him like she has been in the past. It's less fun. It just certainly is, right? It's like she's growing up before our very eyes. This will be the second time in these set of 2 episodes that I mentioned some horror movie iconography. Again, like putting the mask on her face and screaming as she's like transformed, as she crosses a barrier that can't be kind of uncrossed. Yeah, very, very like we've done an exorcism or something and we've unleashed something that we can't get back. That's kind of the tone here, which I think is really fun. Okay, Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel in Utena and the general kind of conceit of the carnival, as well as the carousel, were bad things. They were things to be frowned upon. Generally, who's interested in the Ferris wheel, right? Kids. It's a carnival attraction. It's juvenile. It's childish. This kind of fated meeting in a Ferris wheel car in a romantic setting is really kind of childish as well. It's classical. It's this kind of, again, childish view of romance. Do you see what I'm getting at? Again, not spoilers for Utena, but kind of. Utena definitely frowned upon this. Very, very explicitly. And then, after going to the carnival in Utena, a character in Utena of a certain age and a certain other character in Utena of another certain age definitely had sex. So it's like, it was framed as a bad thing. We didn't like that at all. It was distressing. So again, it's really fun to see Ikuhara going back to the well here, so to say. Definitely doing kind of that same structure. Again, night home from the carnival, and then sex with an older man. Yeah. Again, obviously it's changed here a little bit. You're the one that's, like, honestly being manipulated here, which is a fun reversal. Until the kind of power dynamics change at the very end, and it becomes very weird. Either way, Tabuki here drinks the goo. He says it has a gamey scent, and you look very evil throughout. Very, very cool. Then he fucking, like, dies. He gets a green glow in his eye, like he's gonna kill someone. And then he, like, faints and fucking dies. Again, like grasping for his neck for air, and then, like, the transformations happened. He, like, grabs her arm. But then, like, it's still, like, a good thing, you know? Because now it's like, I'm madly in love with you. Yeah, it's very, very fun framing. Like, oh my god, he's like zombifying himself. Oh no, I'm just in love with you. Again, conflating the two is a bad thing. And then instantly, that kind of Ferris wheel there, it turns into that kind of cartoony shoujo style, right? That we've seen throughout the show up to this point. It all shatters and, hey, my dreams actually come true. My childish fantasy about what I should do with Tabuki. And again, she's all for it. She's like, this sounds great. Take me away, my prince. Let's go back home. If we're madly in love, let's do what lovers do. Now, specifically here, the kind of dancing on the clouds and the, like, really prominent moon and this kind of, like, stars, and it reminds me of Adolescence of Utena. The kind of dance scene during that. Which I recently watched on YouTube again. Fantastic scene, fantastic. Might be the roses in the background as well, giving me that kind of indicator. And again, that was a really poignant scene in Adolescence of Utena. I'm not even sure I entirely understood its context, but yeah, definitely I think it's being referenced here. Oh my god, Tokyo Tower as well? Revue Starlight reference? They're going crazy. Is this fucking dog famous? I saw this dog in fucking Girls Band Cry. Is Hachiko a thing? So yes, it most certainly is a real thing. It depicts a story of Hachiko, which was a dog who waited 9 years after its owner died. It's meant to be this representation of fidelity and undying loyalty and all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I can kind of see how that matches with what's going on right now. Hey, if this is kind of this, like, this representation of love and everlasting love almost, and loyalty, I can see how like Ringo wants to attach that to what's currently going on. And even in the Girls Band Cry stuff, I can see how that's now relevant to that scene as well now. And again, even to the point where we're kind of broadcasting it into the stars as well, the lovers on this satellite. But what is a satellite as opposed to a star? A star is fake, but it's also natural. This is a fake star almost, a satellite, right? It's a fake representation of love, one that has been forced by a love potion, right? It's not quite a star, you know? It's not quite in the stars for us. It's not quite real. Again, even a castle in the sky here, definitely we're playing a lot with that. And again, the castle kind of fading out onto that building where Tabuki is resident of, and the penthouse suite at the very tallest tower of the castle, we're going to kiss. So now we're here again after episode 8, in Tabuki's bed, ready to bone. There's a different character on top this time, which is interesting. And yeah, despite everything, she's crying tears. She doesn't really want this, you know? And she doesn't really understand why. She's not sure yet, right? Because she doesn't know her feelings for Shoma. Again, part of her deep down must know that this isn't right. Her having sex with somebody that's twice her age, literally. And, like, wanting to replace her sister in such a way. Part of her must know that's not correct. That's not the correct thing to do. And it's almost like at that final moment, she's coming to that realization that she can't go through with it. And then this is really good editing. Right when, you know, it looks like she's going to let the feeling take over and all that kind of stuff, right? We go over here to this kind of pot boiling over. Again, read into that how you will. But it's more like, hey, let's demonstrate why she's showing hesitance. And again, we pan over to Shoma to demonstrate that this is why. Because the guy that cared about her the entire time was right there next to her. And again, he's demonstrating that even now, using his cooking skills. He wants to make it up with her. He realized he said something he shouldn't have. And yeah, that's why. This kind of thoughtfulness is the reason why I've fallen for him, you know? And Himari reads him like an open book, pardon the pun. Yeah, you only make this dish when you want to make it up with somebody. I didn't think you would want to do that with Kamba, so the only other person you know really is Ringo, so you must want to make it up with her, you know? I hope she likes stuffed cabbage. Maybe the cabbage is a metaphor too. Oh my god. As I said, the reason why we put that scene there is to demonstrate why she's hesitant now, why she pushes him away. Tabuki asks why. Why not now? We love each other, right? We're destined lovers. And it's like, do I love him? I don't think I do. Who do I love, you know? She gets up out of bed and she also says, I'm not, right? I'm not Momoko. I'm thinking that's what she's insinuating. Again, this isn't my role to play, me trying to force myself into somebody else's role to play their character in their diary. That's not healthy. And she, again, this is that moment of clarity, you know? Oh, and then, yeah, I love this stuff, right? Then she's like, I'm sorry, Tabuki, I'm going home. And then I don't think Tabuki's gonna take no for an answer. He's a horny frog, dude. And he's, like, transformed. It's like this wolfman, werewolf kind of stuff to it, right? Where there's this green glow and he's, like, hunched over, transformed, more beast than man. Yeah, I just think, again, this is straight horror movie stuff again as well. Yeah, really, really fun spin. And obviously switching out all that shoujo pastiche childish stuff for the most adult of genres is, yeah, very purposeful, I think. Hey, I'm in over my head here. This isn't actually what I wanted at all, and yeah. It's also funny. He's like turning into like a werefrog or something, but again, you can read into it a little bit deeper and, you know. I also think it's pretty obvious reversal of the Frog Prince conceit. So again, I'm using this kind of special love potion frog stuff to make my prince, and I'm going to make love to him and all that kind of stuff. But when I get cold feet, again, he turns into a different kind of frog, you know? Kind of, again, that kind of swap between the prince and the frog in a really fun way. I think that's cool. Art style change here pretty obviously too. Really fun angle, predator angle here as we're watching our victim escape. Love the coloration on Ringo there too. The kind of really rough lines dictating the panic. And yeah, I'm choosing to read into this as kind of a Shining thing. Again, he's like axed the door open, here's Johnny and all that, you know. And then yeah, art style change as soon as Yuri comes home as well. I think that's fantastic. And again, Yuri, this kind of demonstration of adultness in this, right? Of clarity, of breaking through the dark here and that kind of horrific scene and talking some sense, right? I've brought light in. Hey, this is who you actually love. This is what you should do. stop following this other childish delusion. Yeah, before this scene, I read into Yuri as a little bit more of a... what's the word? Evil character? Not really evil, but you know what I mean. Antagonistic. No, she truly just cares about Ringo. Hey, sure, I'll break up with Tabuki if that's what you want, but will that really make you happy? This reminds me again of Utena, as I keep saying. That kind of ode at the beginning of some of the episodes, so to say, right? Like, specifically, let me get the wording. Yeah, but is that really okay? This kind of question of, like, is that really what you want? Is that really what you want? Yeah, again, Yuri talking from that position of power here, the same way that the Shadow Girls are to the rest of the audience. I think that's very interesting. Again, she reveals to Ringo here that she's actually in love with Shauma, and she thinks about it, and yeah, I actually am, you know? And yes, just a general manner of like, oh, this isn't serious from Yuri that I think's really funny. I should go make some fabulous tea. It's, yeah, just funny. And from here, it seems like Ringo starts seeing Shauma in a bit of a new light, in a bit of a new perspective. He looks a lot taller, a lot more handsome here, gives her a gift and all that kind of stuff. Again, doesn't this overall seem a little bit nicer than the whole other scene, right? But again, Ringo's conflicted. Now I've thrown away all these years of devotion that I've had to Project M and the diary and all that kind of stuff, right? Of my plan to enact everything here, right? Like, I have to give it up because I actually like this scumbag. And then, of course, she taps out about it. This is very 10 things I hate about you. If you know, you know. That kind of, I hate you, I love you kind of dynamic to it, I guess. Yeah. Again, she's not beating him up because she doesn't like him. It's because she likes him, you know? How dare you make me fall for you? And that frustration getting interrupted here by Himari putting on the headdress. Again, what am I to you? All this kind of stuff. Now it's time to reveal some information. So again, we get a few reveals here as we're kind of winding down the episode. Essentially, Curry Day specifically is the anniversary of Momika's death. I think we maybe knew that, but I didn't think that it was specifically the day. What we didn't know is that was also the day that Ringo fucking was born, which is crazy. And again, I don't really understand the timeline there, as I've said. And yeah, we're talking about something here. My sister, Momika Oginome, is a victim of that incident. On that day 16 years ago, something that everybody would know. Specifically here, if we're going 16 years, this 95 would be what we're talking about, right? Which, as I've just checked, that was the Tokyo sarin attack. So again, that's why you guys were mentioning that. It's probably because Momika's involved, at least somewhat. Okay, I understand now. This information would have been great to reveal, like, now. That's what this was referring to, maybe. Again, the argument there would be that Japanese people would know this offhand. They would be like, oh, 95, of course, that. Tokyo in 95, that's what happened. But again, us Westerners don't. So again, we're maybe not missing anything in that regard, maybe. Again, that's why she feels that she's Momika's reincarnation, but then we get the final reveal here from Shauma. Because upon that reveal, now he's feeling kind of guilty. I was the one who messed up your fate in the first place. I was the one that almost caused Momika's death. Again, the reveal here being that Kamba and Shauma were both born on that same day, and it's our fault that your sister passed away is the kind of, what's the word, cliffhanger for the episode, I would say. Your sister died and we're to blame, specifically sitting on a train car as well. Let's initiate the survival strategy. I'm imagining the parents are involved. That's the only way this makes sense. Otherwise, why would a child being born that same day be the reason that Momika died? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, weird one aside, I think that's a pretty compelling set of 2 episodes, I would say. Just really well done. Lots and lots of little metaphors and stuff. Supremely watchable as I keep going on about the show. It's really good. It's really, really good. We'll return next week for more. Patreon, of course. Like the video, subscribe. I've said a lot of times in this video, lots of stuff that you should comment below. Please do. I'd like some information, if I'm honest, and some confirmation about certain things. Yeah, again, we'll see. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later, and goodbye. Ciao. Bye-bye.